I've been having a lot of fun this season theorizing different combinations with the artifact, but I think this build might be the most fun one I've made so far, which is kind of funny because this one kind of came by accident. Combining so many different subclass elements into one build that can spread damage like crazy, while also still having the ability to give some great survivability built in. Now before we get into the video, if you do enjoy the content, a like and sub will be greatly appreciated. Thank you. So this build's whole focus is around causing constant damage to enemies at all times through 6 different subclass abilities, being volatile, weaken, jolt, scorch, unravel, and treadlings, while also providing us with devour and having the ability to go invis on finishers. Now the main exotic used in this build is Briarspine. Its exotic perk is called One with the Void, which grants your void souls a longer duration and also gains escalating damage and durability when your souls defeat targets. And what I think is the coolest part, it allows you to retrieve your void souls and redeploy them, which when you redeploy them, it'll actually completely reset the timer on the void soul, so it is possible to have a whole army of void souls up at all times. Now for the subclass, we're on Voidwalker using Cataclysm Nova Bomb, Healing Rift, and a Scatter Grenade, with the aspects Child of the Old Gods to spawn in Oversouls for Briars, and Feed the Void to grant Devour on Void ability kills. Onto the fragments, we're using Echo of Undermining to grant Weaken to your grenades, which you could swap out for something else like Echo of Expulsion to create explosions with Void ability kills, but that can be inconsistent with all the other damage being spread, and I just like a guaranteed weaken effect if I don't have Void Soul ready. The other fragments I'm using with the build are going to be Echo of Harvest to create an orb and breach on weakened target kills, Echo of Cessation to make enemies around you volatile on finishers, and then lastly Echo of Obscurity to go invis on finisher final blows. For the armor mods, the focus is to utilize a Strand and Arc Siphon to generate orbs with both weapons to keep the Unravel and Treadling spam always going, with Firepower on the gloves to generate an orb on grenade kills, plus double bolstering detonation to grant us class ability energy back when damaging enemies with our grenade, then a recuperation on the boots for extra easy heals, an insulation to give us class ability energy back on orb pickups, and a Strand Surge mod to buff our primary damage. Lastly, for the class item, we're using Time Dilation for an extra 5 seconds to surge damage buff, Reaper to create an orb on weapon kills after using our Rift, and then lastly Powerful Attraction to pull nearby orbs in while using our Rift. The artifact mods to use with this build are Unraveling Orbs to spread Unravel with our Strand primary, and Horde Shuttle to spawn Treadlings on damaging unraveled enemies with weapons. I'll leave the rest of the artifact mods I use on screen. You can change the rest of these how you see fit depending on the activity, but Unraveling Orbs and Horde Shuttle are very crucial in running this build. Now the weapons used for this build are going to be a Strand primary. I recommend Rufus's Fury since it can roll with Treadling and Demo, a perfect match for this build. You could even use Quicksilver Storm with this build since it's an absolute monster, but you will have to sacrifice being able to apply Scorch. Now the special I'm using is going to be Indebted Kindness, the Arc Special Rocket Sidearm with Volt Shot to apply Jolt to enemies, and then lastly for heavy, Dragon's Breath to apply Scorch and Ignitions to bosses and enemies. The ability to apply so many different damage ticks to enemies makes this build so fun to me. It just spreads damage around like a wildfire, which can be really useful in harder content since it allows you to kill enemies pretty quickly. I will even say this build does work extremely well with Quicksilver if you do prefer that, only if you don't mind sacrificing Scorch of course. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this build because it has been a blast to make. See you guys in the next one. Peace.